Michaell Magrutsche, thank you so much for joining me again. I have booked your calendar full this month. Our theme at the Wisdom Seekers is creativity. So I really appreciate you and your wisdom and you in general. I'm not going to ask how you are either, because that's such a
I'm
like,
alive.
you're alive. I'm glad you're alive, and I'm very glad that you're joining me.
Yeah, this is really good because you're a partner that really looks at the truth, not at your beliefs. And that's why I think it's important in art that we because art is so true. It is our reflection of our one of one.
Mm,
And if people don't know what one of one is, it's I look at life human centrically and system relevant.
mm,
Human centrically, we are collaborative creator animal
yeah,
or species
yeah,
where everybody's one of one, and our collective one of oneness fits synergistically to build Google, Apple, New York, Singapore, Paris.
yeah, yeah,
And they're not the same, because if we were just DNA driven, we would do an anthill in New York. New York would be an anthill, Singapore and Paris.
yeah.
So it's extremely, I love talking to you. I could literally only do you because
Yeah,
you have the same thing. It's about human centricity, because you never could fit in either. I mean, actually, no human could ever fit in.
yeah,
Ask the superstars, and they said they never fit in. Even they have billions of dollars and whatever, they never fit in.
yeah.
And
Because
I
we're not
love,
supposed to fit in.
yeah,
Because we're one of one. We are unique is another word, and I know it's
yeah,
not one of your favorites, but it is we are who we are supposed to be, and there's nothing wrong with us the way that we are.
exactly, yeah,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
we just experienced in the
yeah,
it, the classification of mental health.
yeah,
So yes, so I love talking about it, and literally, art was my savior. So I was extremely neurodiverse. I was a sick child,
mm,
and then went to school at 7, and I was extremely neurodiverse. So
mm,
I couldn't speak. I stuttered. I
mm,
still do, but and then I uh, couldn't regurgitate. I understood math, but I couldn't regurgitate it. So 2 and 2 is 4, but I understood that. But then my dyslexia and everything twisted all the numbers,
mm,
and I had to perform. Right? It's all on the performance. It's not how you feel, because when you feel bad, how can you be regurgitating the right
yeah,
thing, or
yeah,
even go close to Shakespeare? Right? It's
yeah,
just
yeah,
when normal people don't understand the language of Shakespeare anymore, but
yeah.
you as a neurodiverse person have to do this, as it just doesn't work. So
Not if it doesn't connect with you.
yeah, it connects
Yeah,
with me. Yeah,
yeah,
there is a melody and the music, and I don't understand the words, but the rhythm is great.
yeah, yeah. Exactly.
So so I came to actually looking at the art creation,
Mm,
yeah, even before Rick Rubin brought his book out,
yeah,
and his book is like a Bible. It's like a Bible. It's more general. Mine is about the creation, what I experienced as an artist, and what
yeah,
I think should be changed. That I don't want to be judged by a person that don't even make art. If
mm,
my art is good or bad, if my art is basically system relevant or not. See, if we
yeah,
would put that word in, that okay, yeah, it's Michaell, I love your work, but I can't put that in the museum because it's not system relevant.
yeah.
Now
Then it
that
makes
is
sense.
clear,
Yeah,
totally clear. Nobody will be offended,
yeah,
and you can't create. I mean, if artists try, that's why they feel so frustrated to
mm,
create something that's system relevant.
mm,
But because they think what I create, everybody has a white canvas. What I
yeah,
create is gonna be. They just wait for my painting to get on there, and
yeah,
everybody else. I've never went in a house unless it was brand new built, that it
mm,
is empty.
Yeah.
And
So I just want to go back quickly because
right,
before we lose the whole.
oh,
So your book is called The Smart of Art,
all right, yeah, mhm,
and Rick Rubin's book is The Creative Act, A Way of
ac-
Being. So
yeah,
we're kind of combining these elements because I think you are on the same page, you and Rick.
absolutely,
As
absolutely, yeah,
you
yeah. He
know,
said
all of
this,
us are creative, collaborative beings.
yeah,
It's not about what is expressed, but it's about the process and the act of expressing it that
yeah.
is the art.
What,
Am I
what,
right?
what yeah, what
Yeah.
all the Buddhist and things say, it's about the journey. It's not about the
Yeah.
target.
Yeah.
But I never understood that till I wrote the book. So I understand because I didn't see the value. I was so system relevant conditioned
Mm.
that I saw you only learn from success. When I
Yeah.
then became arts commissioner,
Mm.
and I was voted by 6 people from 7, I
Mm.
was like, wow, I'm going to learn a lot. I didn't learn anything. So it's the promise, that false promise. I
Yeah.
learned what not to do, what doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it's always the promise that once you're a leader, then you can finally be the one of one, and you can do whatever you want to do, and you can express yourself however you want to do. That's why we drive naturally to be a leader, because
Mm.
we are loved. And
Mm.
in that love, I can do what I want to do. And
Instead of
it's
starting from that premise as to if I am me and I and in expression, and this is what you say, and this is what Rick Rubin also says in his book, it is not about what is on the canvas, it's about what's happening in the person that is going to put it on the canvas or
yeah,
on the page or in
yeah,
the in music,
yeah,
however your expression
mhm,
of art
yeah,
is, doesn't need to be expressed to anyone else than you.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
why you don't have like a Fred Astaire. He was tapping, right?
Mm.
Nobody taps like him.
Yeah.
Nobody. It was like he was tapping his way. That's why you see a Karajan is not Bernstein, a
Yeah.
conductor. So everybody's different. The Stones are not like the Beatles. Everybody, even in the group, they're one of one.
Yeah.
So that's why it's important to look at it. Uh, you want to understand why we are different, and always the art product is always a
Mm.
symptom of you. It's like, you have a conversation with me and we create together something, and then the symptom is the artwork. It's
Yeah.
neither you or me, it's our mastermind when we talk together
Mm.
like this. This
Yeah.
is this is the example.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't think I wasn't prepared, because we couldn't prepare. We are neurodiverse. We can't prepare.
Don't
So
forget.
we have to act in the moment, and
Yeah.
we're not nervous because we have tried it so often and it works,
Yeah.
and we wouldn't be upset if it didn't work. See?
There is no not working because
Exactly.
it's happening. Is it
Exactly.
working already?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Which is the beautiful part. And also, I'm in the Wisdom Seekers, we have themes. So this month it's
Yeah.
creativity, and we have you coming in next week
Yeah.
to play with us, and see what happens. It's not
Yeah.
prescripted. It's kind of a open room. And on the other hand, we're also reading Rick Rubin's book, The Creative Act, which
Yes.
I think they're filling on to each other beautifully.
Hmm.
Um, and there's aspects of both of you. You also have a podcast called The Smart of Art.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that, because that's very interesting.
That's
It's
only,
very one of one.
yeah, it's only 30 seconds, because it takes me 30 seconds, because of my neurodiversity. It takes me so long to even make 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So I revere you, because you can do this. I couldn't do this. Uh, so this 30 seconds, a quote that is from me. I have
Mm.
like 250 quotes in this. It's not all posted yet. I think we are at 200 or something,
Yeah.
but it's not much more. It will be only 250.
Yeah.
And what it is also, it has a question. So I say, art is art can create heaven on earth.
Mm.
Did you ever experience that you feel above the physical? That would be a thing, above the
Yeah.
physical, when you experience art.
Yeah.
And I think everybody does, because you go in another world. I mean, something can bewitch you, and you just you're lost, And so if you want to experience heaven on earth, go in nature and play with art. I mean, this is literally
Yeah.
it's godly, it's very godly, and it's not, and it's because since we are part of nature, we play with that. We play with the creativity and aesthetics, because we look if you look at the sky, at the sky, and look at the clouds. God, how often have you looked at the clouds? 1,000 times, 10,000 times? Why don't you get bored of that? Because the aesthetics of the construction is always fresh.
Yeah.
It's always a new. I mean, they look similar like yesterday, but there's something. There is a light shadow in there. There is something in. So it's always I call it, in my book, I call it engagement point. So that's why in the old masterpieces, you have bugs or butterflies crawling on the table. You have a tossed over goblin, and then when you look at the goblin, it's tossed over. It is beautiful painting of crystal work, of crystal. It was a crystal thing, and you say, "Oh my God, this guy can really." But you wouldn't look if the goblin stood right. It has to be this. The power is in the disorder, not in the order,
Okay. Yeah.
Even though we have a thing for order, we have our grace of all humans is to have order. But when we do to get attention, you do some disorder so that, in art,
Yeah. Yeah.
or you have the red dot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even in all kinds of places, it's that point that doesn't fit, that
exactly.
makes the contact.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I mean, looking at the sky might be similar, but we also change. So that's
yeah.
part of the art
Beautiful.
process.
Yeah.
Is we are dancing with our environment.
We wouldn't have seen the sky yesterday the same way we see it now. So we have to grow tomorrow to experience the sky that way tomorrow.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
So if we could do this, see
Mm,
both skies, we would say, no, this is better than this,
no.
or I like this
Yeah,
better than this,
yeah.
because we go in and out. That's our grace order. That's
Yeah,
the order of grace that we have. We
yeah,
compare and see, what resonates more with me.
yeah.
But when you
And it doesn't have to
experience,
be a logical reason either,
there's
because
no logical reason.
yeah,
Zero. There's zero. Because you can feel yesterday worse seeing the one that you would in a picture choose as number one, and
yeah,
today you feel better and you don't even see the other one. So
yeah,
it's just that's what our talk right now. I didn't think about that, but
mm,
our talk now, it's so revealing when you talk about the non-categorized, non-stereotypical, and
mm,
that's what art always is, the blueprint of what's possible. Always. It's
yeah,
because when you see art,
yeah,
it, you say, "Oh my God, that was Star Trek." Oh, they use Sing, whatever, and now everybody has an iPad. Everybody can, do all these things.
yeah,
So and much more than what Star Trek did. So it's an endless. It's for people like you and me that are awareness freaks that love awareness,
yeah,
that we are addicted to it.
yeah,
Art creation is the best. Observing art and understanding art. It's just, that's why I made my podcast, because I made it for me, not for anybody else. So,
exactly.
you know,
Yeah,
you can resonate with it or not. And I don't need a million followers either,
yeah,
and I don't want to be a leader and this thing, I don't want to be a system leader. I'm
yeah,
a leader anyway, you and I, but
yeah.
I don't want to be a system leader. What-
And in art, Rick also says it in his book. I was just busy listening to it now, and he says um, the artist actively works to experience the art slowly. So whatever it is, whether and I catch myself in it, and sometimes, and I get frustrated, and then I have to kind of go, hang on, this is just how you are, and maybe it's okay, but to really stop and let it sink in, and then to re-experience it from a
Yeah,
different angle
it's
at
it's
the same
always
time.
right. It's
Yeah.
never, you're never off with art because it's yours. I mean,
Mm.
then if you, he always says that diaries is such a good example.
Mm.
Your diary cannot be wrong.
No.
So your art cannot be wrong either. It's the
Yeah.
expression. But if you focus with your art to be a commodity and the system relevance will appreciate it and wants to, that's the disconnect. That's why I found out the system relevance and human centricity. You
Mm.
have a magical experience creating something. Doesn't matter, not even art, podcast, whatever you create.
Yeah.
And then once it's done, it's not as relevant. I mean, I
Yeah.
love, I worked 7 years on a painting and sculpt live, and I
Mm.
couldn't finish it. I had the outside done and the corner, the center, it wasn't. And I was just leaning in, trying things. And I said, if it's never finished, it's never finished. I mean, I couldn't, there's no choice I could have made. I'm not going
Yeah.
to scratch the canvas because it was really good the outside. So I
Yeah.
had to just find the corner of it, the core of it. And when you have this magical experience in creation, that's what you should milk, even if the artwork gets never finished. It
Mm.
doesn't matter if you have, if I can add to a painting and feel great in adding things and figuring it out what I add, it
Mm.
doesn't matter how long it takes.
Yeah.
Rick says there is a thing when you're certain stage you can finish it. You should actually then, if it's almost done, you want to varnish it and all of a sudden, yeah. So then
Yeah.
then then it's done. But I I really think that everyone should try to understand their own ability to create. It
Mm.
doesn't matter. I think
Mm.
that's art. That's what art is. It's your ability and the function how you create, because everybody creates different and there's no formula for success, because if there
No.
was, we all use it, right?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
all use, there's an iPhone, there's a cell phone. We all use mobile phones all over the world. So if there was a formula to do something, we would use it, so,
Yeah.
and we
But
don't.
we know from experience that formulas don't work the same for everyone. So you can go
Cannot.
on this amazing course and learn how to paint the most beautiful skies,
Yeah,
because something triggered your own innate eye or ability. I can be on the same course and go, I don't like skies, or whatever
exactly.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Generalization of humans is system relevant.
Yeah.
Human centric is, you know, it's one of one, and
Yeah.
in that one of one, you experience your life. See, the art is such a. It's like you have an own tutor for
Yeah.
awareness. I think art is the only. This just came. So art is a own tutor. Whatever your creation, you creating is
Mm.
the own tutor for you because you experience you. You don't
Yeah.
experience somebody else. But
Yeah.
if you try to copy somebody else, you're distorting your own
Mm.
expression.
And that's where um learning art, learning or studying or having the knowledge doesn't necessarily
No,
make you a better artist
I
or an
have no
artist.
knowledge of art.
Yeah.
You can beat me in Rembrandt's things or Van Gogh stuff. I know him, but I don't. I'm not a specialist at all. I
Mm.
don't want to be. Why would I want to be? What is
Yeah.
the point
Yeah.
to understand other things? If I am in love and they bewitch me, I would do one painter and know him, try and
Mm.
leave human centrically know him, not what he did and how much he
Yeah.
success he had or not.
Yeah.
You know.
But
So
that's also the beauty of artists, that there's a story to each of them. If you look a little bit deeper and not just at their work. I saw something the other day which is quite random, and I didn't even check whether it's factual or not. But that only about 100 or so of Picasso's paintings are really valuable, but he did thousands. So
35,000.
yeah,
35,000. Yeah.
so it's not about the perfection or the doing it right, or it's doing it. That's it. Point.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about the experience. It's the learning you do when you create, the learning that happening, and that gets you in the moment. Number one, because
mm,
you're not learning anything from art if you rush it. If I
yeah,
want to say I'm going to put red and green and blah blah blah, yes, if it's a flow, but it's not a flow. If it's just
yeah,
rushing is you're not in the flow. You're
mm,
actually getting away from the flow. And if I just make the thing, and so it is art. That's why it's so good that you do this, because I really wanted to always. I had my own class and everything. I have 100 graduates of what I did, which was all about the voice only. It was just the voice. The you're one of one is.
yeah,
But I love this because it's the next level of people. I'm so bored with what I learned from the system relevant art. And I
mm,
think we should talk about what I told you before
mm,
about a very system relevant person that wrote a book.
yeah,
And I basically disagree with everything because from my own experience,
yeah,
I think that's not true.
mm,
I'm not saying what we, and also you see here what we say. We see how we, and that's what we do in all our podcasts, right? And we do in all our talks. We focus on every human, not okay. Woman artists need to do this, and man artists, and the gay artists especially, they have to do that.
no,
No,
it's
we
not,
talk to all humans. We're gonna go zoom so much out
mm,
that we can always talk, and that's wisdom to talk
yeah,
all about everyone, not just humans should do this. No, humans should do
no,
whatever they want to do. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, and this is something that Rick that really got to me. It made so much sense. He said rules direct us to average behaviors. If we
exactly.
want to aim to create something that's exceptional, most of those rules don't apply. So,
Yeah,
what do we want to do? Yeah, we need rules in certain
yeah,
situations to create average behavior. Um, but do we want average? Is art isn't average, or creation isn't average?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's you. It can't be average because it's you. It
Exactly. Exactly.
it can't be average because it's you, and you're not generalized. The other thing is also what is a symphony, right?
Hmm?
Dissonance and harmony
Yeah.
in balance. If
Yeah.
it's only dissonance, it's a noise. If it's only harmony, it's boring. You need the dance of yin and yang. You need the dance of yin and yang. That's
Yeah.
why
And
I
yeah.
want a world that is only good. Everybody's happy. I'm happy. I'm spiritual. Everything is. You don't get anywhere, with
Yeah.
that. You need
Yeah.
bring it in harmony. That's what humanity needs to be in harmony.
Mm.
Not and system relevance doesn't allow you to be in harmony because it's only one side.
Yeah. But it wants
Human
to be
centered,
fast. It wants to productive. It wants to make money. It wants
never
to,
enough. Never
there's
enough.
never enough. There's scarcity. There's all those
Always,
things.
always the balance is
Yeah.
in the negative because there is no positive. If I wanted to be in the financial sector, how can I get a value proposition that makes it's never enough enough? There is none. Nobody can. No financial person can tell you in
Mm.
financial principles what is the opposite pole to make balance, and there is none. The only thing to survive the imbalance is create more. That's a survival. That's not a balance.
But there's a rush in creating more. There's a lack of awareness. There's
Yeah,
less. There's no patience. There's no experience of
yeah,
the dance, or the slowing down, the actively stepping. There's none of that. So then we lose that inherent part of that makes us, that blank canvas, that
yeah,
um yeah, that we can choose the colors. We spoke earlier this week about awareness, and I think that's a lot of art. Or we talk about art, but the creative process, creativity, creation is inherent to everybody. I think everybody are artists. It's just how you choose your voice, as you say, and
yeah,
how you then express, and what makes you happy, what like,
yeah.
yeah, what's your passion, what lights you up.
Yeah, and it reveals that in the creation. Because
Mm,
if I said, I say I want really brown. I love brown. I love brown.
mm,
Makes me bootsy, thing homely or whatever.
yeah,
In that brown, I'm not mixing that thing right, and all of a sudden I get an olive.
yeah,
I don't mix the concoction, and I get an olive, and all of a sudden I lose my passion. I like brown, but all of
yeah,
a sudden I'm an olive person. You know,
Yeah.
it's like red, and you do too much white and pink. All of a sudden, oh, I want pink. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's or gray. Gray is such a magical color because it can be a yellow tainted, yeah, blue or red tainted gray, and you almost sudden, wow, you know. Uh, and
Yeah.
so Sade, artist, simple example. Sade, the artist,
Yeah.
she is not a good singer. She is very liked,
Yeah.
but the magic of her is that she's surrounded by a team of dissonance. So she's the dissonance, and the
Yeah.
harmony is the great. And she's so
Ah,
great as dissonance
yeah.
because the harmony people. She's an unbelievable artist. I wouldn't say, but I would say she doesn't have a voice like Maria Callas or something. You know,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
and she and her dissonance, her uniqueness in dissonance is her, and it's the success. It's not even the
Yeah.
people that are around her.
Yeah.
It's her. She creates
But it's the contrast to the
balance, yeah,
people.
dissonance
Yeah.
and harmony.
Yeah. And that's a lot of cases, you know. Um, like my son asked me in the other, we were driving home from school, and he said, "Wow, Ed Sheeran is a really good singer." And I said, "Well, he's a really good artist. I think, you know, he
Mhm,
really collaborates well, and he creates
mhm.
um, amazing things, and he practiced really hard. He wasn't necessarily, I wouldn't say he's a great singer, but he's
Yeah.
a great performer." And we had this long conversation about the difference. He still believes that Ed Sheeran's a great singer, so I'm going to leave him with that. But you know, it made us kind of dive into what is it that we connect with in these people um,
Mhm.
when they create. And it's for me, it's really the fact that they take chances and that they are out there, you know, doing it. So how, yeah, I
Um,
think that's what you also encourage,
yeah.
is for people to connect with their one of oneness. So what
Yeah.
is it that makes you you? And then you can only go from there.
I mean, even Beatles and Stones took a risk because
Yeah.
there was nothing before like this. And
Yeah.
they were totally said, oh, let's just do it. And
Yeah.
people were saying, I don't know, the older people, I don't understand that music, right? And the
Yeah.
kids were crazy because it was spontaneous, it was fresh, it was new. And and so that's that. I say, I mean, by this talk, listening just to our talk,
Mm.
and we are not talking about, oh, you have to do this style and you have to paint like this and do it. We don't give you anything if you
Yeah.
don't get that this what the power of creation, and that's why it's our one superpower. And the
Mm.
second is communication, and the third one is adaptation, because if you and I don't adapt, we can dance.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those are the three essential superpowers. And when you look at life from that, your life becomes, as first of all, you learn so much about your own life.
Mm.
You think you have a simple life because you should have a Rolls Royce and you should have 10 villas and whatever.
Yeah.
No, the simplest life can be amazing when you use your one of one
Mm.
and observe what creates. And you know, the people say, "Oh, we need to have always lack, and because otherwise people don't work." No, but the
Yeah.
more you in balance, the more you feel love, and the more you self motivated. You, I mean, you grow in a prison cell because you cannot get bored. You know, when you there's a boredom is like when it's the same. So when the system says, oh, it should be all the same, then it's so your passion starts. Your passion, you say, you're this. So people say, oh, just be curious. How can I be curious if I'm in system elements? How can I be
No, you
curious?
can't, because then you have to fit in the box, and
But
it takes too much
But you
energy.
know what the psychology mindset,
Yeah.
awareness is systemic mindset.
Yeah.
Oh, just be curious. I hate when people say to me, coaches say, "Oh, just be curious." I said, "How can I be curious when I'm depressed, when I don't feel good?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not curious at all." But when I start experience my surrounding, my life, and
Mm.
observe instead of judge,
Mm.
then I get into balance. And when I get into balance, I can observe more, get wisdom, and then you're curious,
Yeah.
because if
And
I
then you
wasn't
can
curious,
express.
I wouldn't have that talk.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have that talk if neither of us would show
No,
up, if we're not saying wow, and we're not showing up because I'm telling you something I studied. No, I'm
no.
telling you something from my experience.
But it triggers something within me, what you are saying. It's not
Yeah,
necessarily what you are saying, but the fact
exactly.
that you are saying it is what
Yeah,
triggers something that
yeah.
I know.
Uh-huh.
And Jochen, and please don't unsubscribe. We know Ed Sheeran is a great singer. We're just
It,
just joking.
let me tell her something.
Yeah,
Ed Sheeran is phenomenal. You know what he said? He said what we say. He didn't learn
yeah,
anything from success. Anything. He said, I
exactly.
learned nothing. So I love Ed. If I like his music or not, it is irrelevant. I
Yeah,
love Ed as a human, as a one-on-one Ed. I don't have to love his music or like, I don't even know his new music.
no.
So, but I
And
know Ed is a great guy. He's a great,
I
is
know
a,
Jack's joking with us, so it's okay.
yeah.
Um, Tell me quickly, we're at the end again. I don't know where the time goes. Your book, your take on this. This is your fifth book, The Smart of Art.
No,
And
no, no. It's my sixth book,
sixth
fifth book.
book.
Yeah, sixth,
Yeah,
fifth
yeah.
book. Yeah. Mhm.
Coming from a dyslexic background, I mean, it couldn't have been easy to put it down on paper. What did you do? What was your inspiration, your catalyst to create that piece of art?
Because I didn't do it. I'm an artist since I'm 5 years old. Okay,
Mm,
so I that was my piece that saved my life.
mm,
And somewhere like seeing 20 around 20, I started to make notes of
yeah,
observations that I experienced with art because I wanted to understand the art business. I wanted to, the art, what we all know as the art business, you have to be Picasso, blah, 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 blah. And I was so interested and I wanted to understand it. I couldn't learn it in school. I
yeah,
couldn't learn it anywhere. So I was taking notes and said, I need to teach myself about it. I
mm,
took notes, and I have books and books of notes. And then one time, I think I was sick or something, I dictated it all in the computer. Then he had long computer. I have so many notes that I wrote because it
yeah,
made me understand with my dyslexia. It made me
mm,
understand, making point. Also, I could take time to make sense out of it
yeah,
because in neurodiversity you need more time, because you want to be more in the moment. You need to bring yourself in the moment, and you can be rushed. When you're rushed, you get depressed. When you're rushed, you lose yourself.
mm,
So I took the notes, and then I dictated the notes into the computer,
mm,
and then I let the computer read it to me.
mm.
And while it was reading to me, I fixed it because I could hear this doesn't
Yeah.
sound right.
Okay.
So that's all my books I wrote like this.
Yeah, and that's amazing. I think there's a lot of bravery in expression. I
Mhm.
also saw something the other day that really like made so much sense for me, that the opposite of depression is not joy but expression, and
Yeah,
I think that's what
that's what
art
I
does.
say always. I say
Yeah,
always this. The
it,
opposite of depression is expression.
yeah,
That's why you have wars. That's
yeah,
because you feel powerless when you don't have this is a perfect ending.
yeah,
You have the perfect teacher in art, right? That we
mm,
said that art is the best teacher
yeah,
of yourself, of your one of oneness, not of others, of your one of oneness,
hmm,
and to learn that you are a part of this world and you have value by creating. It gives you the feedback. Creation gives you because even if I do a podcast and it's successful, I get feedback also
yeah,
from the others. Yeah. And
yeah,
art doesn't I want anything other than being created and shown. That's
mm,
art. It doesn't want to be sold or whatever.
yeah,
It wants to be shown. And
hmm,
when you have that, there is something in it that you are okay. It balances you. It's the counter of the system relevance where it's never enough.
mm,
You by experience yourself
mm,
know from experience that you are enough.
yeah.
because I can say this is the best podcast or the worst.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant. You did
Yeah.
it. It's irrelevant if I say this is the worst what you guys do, or come on, Michaell, why don't you have a flashy background and whatever, you know? And I want you to wear a blouse with things, and I want you to have hair like this. All bullshit, you know? And so what this is the superpower of art, and literally we made a point of what it is.
Exactly.
That was it, guys. You know everything. No, we're going into stuff. And we're going into questions. If people have questions, we can actually, like Ed Sheeran question or something, you know.
Yes, Ed Sheeran is great. We love Ed Sheeran. Just to put that out there.
He's a human. He's a one-on-one human.
Exactly. He's very much a one-on-one human. And I love how he engages with such a variety of different people. And you can see when he talks to someone, you know, he sees them. He doesn't. Yeah. So hats off to Ed Sheeran. And thank you, Michaell. And if you can join us next week, Thursday, at 4 p.m. BST, which is 8 a.m. Pacific, which is 10 Central Time. We're going to have.
We don't write it down or something. Sign up, or I think, because we're nerdiverse.
I'll put the link in the comments. Exactly. Thank you so much. It's always great chatting to you, especially about art, because I think life is art, isn't it? It's our expression of art.
Yeah.
So see you next Thursday.
Looking